My name is Jerry Gill, and today is December 10th, 2008. I'm visiting with Dr. Roger Panciera in his office in the OSU campus in Stillwater, Oklahoma. This interview is for the Old State Storage Project of the Oklahoma Oral History Research Program. And Dr. Panciera, thanks for taking time to visit with us today. Could we, first of all, maybe, I know you had a long and distinguished career at Oklahoma State University.
There you go.
And but I wanted to first of all kind of get a little bit about your early life, where you grew up, about your family. Could you share a little bit of information with us about that?
Yeah, I was born and grew up in Westerly, Rhode Island. My dad was a cabinet maker, and my grandfather and great uncle and cousins operated a couple of farms, mixed dairy, chicken, etc. I spent a lot of time there on the farm. Westerly is 2 or 3 miles from the Atlantic Ocean. A great place to visit and enjoy beach, swimming, ocean, fishing. What else?
It's a great place to grow up. Well, where did you do your undergraduate studies? Was it there in Rhode Island somewhere?
Yeah, I attended the University of Rhode Island. Then Rhode Island State College, just kind of like Oklahoma State was Oklahoma A&M. I did that for 2 years, and at the end of 2 years, I was accepted into veterinary school.
Now, you were in, I think it was in the class of 53?
53.
Who would have put you in either, the second or third OSU class?
Third class
Third
to
class.
graduate.
Well, there's got to be a story about how a kid from Rhode Island gets to Oklahoma. How did you get here?
Actually, my advisor at the University of Rhode Island was a veterinarian who happened to be a classmate of Dr. Lewis Moe, who was on the faculty at OSU. And my advisor, Dr. Delaplane, learned at the summer American Veterinary Medical Association meeting that there might be spots in the class, in the veterinary school class at OSU, advised me to apply, which I did, and was accepted very late in the year, very late in the summer. I wasn't sure that I should accept this opportunity, but my advisor told me that for every person accepted, there were 7 applicants for each position in veterinary school at that time, and he advised me to get a railroad ticket and head for Oklahoma, which I did.
Well, was there a contract agreement with the state?
No,
at the
no
time?
contracts.
Just the personal relationship you described earlier is how you found out about Oklahoma State.
Yep.
Great. Well,
things were different in those days. Publicity. I mean, it was didn't work that way.
What did you know about Oklahoma at that time? Do you think that you'd be living with Indians in a reservation, or?
No, I didn't think that. However, after I got here, or maybe after I joined the faculty, I heard overheard someone on a telephone, probably from New Jersey, calling back home and talking about that very thing. Were there any, wild Indians and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty amusing.
So you come in the fall of '53. Can you?
I came in the fall of '49.
I'm sorry, 49
49.
class of '53.
Yeah.
And then can you recall some of the early day faculty that you had some classes with that taught you?
Yeah. Dr. Lewis Moe was on the early faculty. All of us students at that point knew Dean McElroy.
Yeah, Dean Mack was.
He didn't
Mack
teach.
then?
He didn't teach, but he was sort of the distinguished gentleman on campus. We had a Dr. Rice, Dr. Orr, who became dean, taught us physiology. Dr. Krull was an inspirational instructor of parasitology.
Did he influence your decision later to go into parasitology?
Dr. Krull influenced my my view of the scientific method, my view of thoroughness, specificity. He was a great influence. And interestingly, I went to graduate school at Cornell, and it so happened that Dr. Krull was spending his summers up there solving a liver fluke problem that existed in upstate New York. And so I got to know him well, and got to soak up more of his philosophies of how to do things, etc.
What was it? It must have been different being a student in that era as today. What was a typical day in the life of a student like, or a typical semester? Could you share a little bit of that?
I don't think there were very many things that are now termed student rights. And I think it might have been better that way. The school week during much of my matriculation was anywhere from 38 to 42 or 3 hours a week in class or labs. Money was pretty short. Living was more in the survival mode than in the living and enjoying mode.
Where'd most of the students live at that time? Was there some area close around the campus?
Yeah, students rented rooms in private homes. They didn't rent private homes. Vet Village was probably the most common accommodation for many of my classmates, most of whom were World War II veterans. A few people had cars. There was plenty of walking done. The campus was quite different. I actually have a copy of a photo of campus in my office, the old campus.
Did you ever meet President Bennett?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. And he had the fatal plane crash shortly after I went to after I'd graduated and gone to graduate school. Yep.
What do you mean by some of the facilities you had? Teaching facilities, labs, clinics.
Yeah,
Equipment,
sort of the day or two after I arrived, I got to see the new veterinary medicine building. It was stacked up on the curb at McFarland. Farm Road was gravel. Highway 51 paved ended at Western. There were very few faculty members that spent almost all their time teaching. School was very unstable in the sense that financially it was very poorly supported, and I remember going home to Rhode Island for summer vacation with some concern that the vet school would still be here in the fall. But it was, and it still is, and it's going great right now.
What would we think of when we think of veterinary, we think of teaching hospital and clinics, we think of modern lab. What were some of the labs like? Can you describe some of that era?
Well, my specialty, pathology, I've described our postmortem lab in the past as two 16 by 16 surplus army shacks pasted together. The heat was from the hot water heater. The screen doors kept the flies in. Pretty primitive stuff. Our winch, our facility to drag animals in and out of this place was operated by muscle power.
No hydraulics.
Pretty primitive stuff, and but it was great. We had good students, and students and a bit of enthusiasm are, it seems to me, what it takes to have educational fun.
Maybe you can confirm a conversation I had with Dr. Lester Johnson. He was describing the operating table. If I'm telling the story right, there was a gift from Fort Reno for the operating table. You know, they'd had a veterinary medicine facility there because they had draft animals. And it's a huge, they really couldn't get large animals on there, so they did a lot of their operating on a mat. It was a wrestling mat that they'd sterilize and clean. And he was describing being down on their hands and knees and operating. I was trying to be, is that true? I mean,
absolutely true. Yeah. Absolutely true. And things were crude. Mm-hmm. Actually, medicine, veterinary medicine, and I think human medicine at the time were primitive is too severe a word, but somewhere between slightly above primitive would be pretty appropriate.
So if you had a course, clinical course, what would your typical clinic? What would a clinic be like?
Well, there were a lot of farm calls that Dr. Moe was primarily responsible for. And large animal patients were relatively much more numerous than pets. there's been a lot learned about medicine and veterinary medicine since the early 50s, I can tell you that. And learning facilities, learning aids, books, video stuff are just so much better today than they were then.
What kind of equipment? I mean, obviously you didn't have you didn't have internet and so on, but what kind of visual aids equipment for teaching? I mean, would you find in a typical classroom?
Probably 8 or 16 millimeter movie projectors. Overhead projectors, other sorts of projectors that projected glass plates with photographs on them. The copy machine, an embryonic version of today's copy machines was coming in, and things were typed instead of computer generated. I don't remember. There were dictating machines around. They produced a recording on a record, not on a tape or on a disc, but on a record. Blackboards were pretty widely used. Blackboards instead of whiteboards. Notes were not handed out. We used a lot of books back then.
How did you two get to the table? Did Sarah pick that up?
And I almost think that books provide a better learning mechanism than today's handed out notes and stuff like that.
What about office facilities? I'm trying to recall if it's Dr. Johnson or shared said his first office was in a stall.
Yeah.
The other day. Was that common for faculty offices to be in a stall?
There was a line of stalls that opened to the outside.
They open to which direction they open out to? You call? It's here in the McElroy building.
No, it was in the first vet building, part of which is now McElroy Hall.
Mm-hmm.
The old building was constituted of an auditorium, a clinic floor, and a pharmacy, and then a barn and stall space. Most of the stall space was opened to the inside of the building, but there were a series of 6 or 8 stalls that opened to the outside of the building, and most of those became offices. When I first came to work here in 1956, our office was in the hayloft and of the old clinic building, and the roof of that building was composed of thick slabs of plaster or tile or something. And I think it was designed to store heat so that in the summertime, if you were working at 10:30 or so at night, it was still 90 plus in those buildings. It was pretty crude.
Well, Dr. Panciera, we're kind of going back in just a little bit to your student experience here as an undergrad or as a professional student at the college. There some experiences that stand out in your mind as a student, extracurricular, classroom, whatever, particularly memorable times you had?
Socially, for a single guy that lived in, I lived in the old, in TF9, the old anatomy pathology building, with one roommate, and our social life was pretty limited. The vet school had one major all-school blast, I think at the end of the spring semester. It's a pretty wild party, and we had something we called a smoker, in which some of our classmates were joke tellers. The thing I remember best was that we had boxing matches, and I was a boxer that had the advantage of having grown up in a neighborhood where my neighborhood chums were in a boxing club, and I sparred with them sometimes, and so I learned a little bit about boxing, and it gave me a big advantage in our smoker performances. I think we did that 2 different years. That was a big event. Probably the most important thing I did as a student was I met and courted my wife. Big time. That was a big deal.
Is there a story there? I mean, where
No.
you told earlier about having social life is pretty tough, but you must have worked something out.
Well, one of my roommates was dating a hometown neighbor of my wife, and so and that's how I met my wife, and that's I owe my old roommate and Beverly a big debt for making it possible for me to meet
Great.
my wife.
What after you maybe didn't change a little bit after you left? You indicated you went to Cornell.
Yep.
Got your master's and PhD there. I think is that
Right.
correct?
Correct.
Can you share a little bit about that experience, how you got to Cornell, and then maybe we'll talk a little bit how you got back to OSU.
Well, I think I finished vet school, or graduation was on May 26, 1953. I got married 2 days later. Our honeymoon consisted of checking into potential graduate schools between Stillwater, Oklahoma, and Westerly, Rhode Island. I think we stopped at the University of Illinois, Purdue, Cornell, and it seemed to me that Cornell had the cart behind the horse, and I was fortunate to be admitted to their program, and it's pretty intense, and I'm thankful for that. While I was in graduate school, Dr. Krull actually informed me of a possible position here at Oklahoma State, and fundamentally that's how I got here on the faculty. 1956.
Did you assume, obviously going through graduate school, that you wanted to teach then at that point as opposed to practice? When did you make that decision?
Well, when I went to graduate school, my goal was to become better informed specifically about bovine reproduction. But the pathology bug bit me pretty hard, and I was having so much fun learning that I gave up on the practice idea.
That's great. Well, you kind of coming back over a tenure, nearly 40 years here. You worked under several deans. Could you share some of your recollections of some of these? There's probably some good and some bad recollections there.
Yeah. No, well, no.
How do you compare them?
No. Well.
Okay.
I think I have been associated with the vet school for every single dean except one. Dr. Orr, who was one of my professors, but who didn't survive until I got back on the faculty. So, and I didn't know that much about Dean Mack, except that he was into everything in Stillwater, and a grand old guy. Our next dean was Glenn Holm, a pretty capable guy, I thought. One of the things that impressed me about the early deans was that one dean and a secretary could administer the whole veterinary school, compared to today when we have I don't know how many associate deans and support people, business office. Things have become much more complicated. Let me see, after Glenn Holm, who was that? Bill Brock, and then Morgan, and then Joe Alexander, and then Mike Lorenz. A lot of good people in there.
You think some particular leadership strengths or qualities, some of those brought to it?
I think Holm was a pretty strong guy. I'm afraid I might be forgetting one. One dean. I think Joe Alexander advanced the plight of the school significantly, and I think Lorenz has. I'm just very happy that he's here. I think he's been an excellent leader and good man.
Are there any Dean Lorenz stories you can tell me? We can kind of get a little smut on him here, maybe on tape. You remember maybe as a student, perhaps, or
yeah. Well, actually, Dean Lorenz maintains some of the personal qualities that I recall him having as a student. He never lacked for confidence, and I'm afraid to say ego, but I said it, and I think it's probably important. His performance is probably the product of trying to satisfy his ego. So that's great.
Good.
That's what could be one of the things that makes him go.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's a. If I don't mind, I'm going to say he's a hell of a good dean.
Well, talking about kind of you and your specialty a little bit, I was studying a little bit about some of your research and pretty impressive. And as an outsider, I'm saying it's pretty impressive. If I got it right, your specialty field is primarily is pathology, parasitology.
I'm
is
really
is that right?
pathology. I'm trained in pathology, and some people think I'm pretty good at parasitology. And if that's the case, it's because of the stimulation and motivation that Dr. Krull gave me.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you've been a little modest. I'm thinking I know you made some important contributions in fields in especially blood diseases in dogs, bovine respiratory diseases, and shipping fever, and these are some pretty significant contributions that you made.
Yeah.
Can you discuss your research? Over the years a little bit.
My research is really revolves about trying to understand nature's experiments, not my experiments. And what I really mean by that is that nature creates diagnostic puzzles. Sometimes puzzles that have never ever been recognized as puzzles before. And I've had the good fortune to recognize several of those sorts of puzzles, and I've also made some additions to puzzles that had been recognized, but I've been able to fill in some of the blanks, and it's been fun. I mean, it kind of makes me get up in the morning. Still, I mean, the only reason I'm here doing this right now is several years after I retired, is that I've had a lot of fun in the last 10 or 12 years studying primarily one disease, a dog disease.
What you've had of course a long career in both research and teaching. Do you have a favorite area?
Well,
One
having grown up in veterinary medicine in an environment where teaching was the primary issue, that's been my first
love.
I felt that to be my first obligation, okay, as a faculty member. It's not necessarily, I like it all. I mean, you asked, is it my first love? And the answer is, my love is shared by lots of different activities as a faculty member.
Are there some former students you've had, Dr. Panciera, that you take special pride in?
Oh, hell yeah. I mean, they're...
Can you name some of them?
Oh, hell.
Yes.
Tony Confer, Mike Lorenz, Jerry Ritchie, Melanie Brashears, Talmadge Brown, Bob Whitney, who became Surgeon General of the US of A for a while, much to my surprise. Hell, there are too many to think of. Check out that note and look at the picture.
You mind if I read it out loud here?
Yeah, go ahead.
Dr. Panciera, I wish I could be there to congratulate you. You honor all of us by your efforts, and it makes me proud to have learned at least a few things at OSU. One of the greatest lessons I think will always be not settling for average. As a person should, you have demonstrated to all around you. I keep this picture in my office to remind me when I need a kick in the ass. Congratulations. Is it Greg Emmert?
Greg Emmert, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah.
You probably have dozens and dozens of those.
I do. I believe that a major responsibility of a faculty member is to motivate. I don't think faculty members teach anything, because learning is a first-person experience. It's what students do. And so my job is a motivator, and if it takes a kick in the butt, that's okay by me. I'm perfectly willing to do that.
What would, to play a game, I wonder, what adjectives would some of your former students use to describe you, do you think?
I'm sure that some of them call me an SOB. And some appreciate having been one of my students.
Tough to be one of those words.
I hope so. I don't like the word intimidation, or I don't like to think that that's what was one of my techniques, but I like to think that I drew lines in the sand, and that you better get as close to that line as you could.
Military, they call that motivation, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's motivation, and it's also sort of remaining in charge of your class instead of allowing other people. Hey, this is the standard. It may not be a sharp line, but you need to put out the effort, or you don't get much sympathy from me.
I suspect discipline wasn't a problem in your classes.
No, it wasn't. I'm probably a poor enough observer, although I don't believe that, to believe that in however many years I taught in the classroom and gave exams, I've been suspicious of students cheating, maybe not over 2 or 3 times in 40-some years. And I think part of that had to do with the warning beforehand, and the fact that students believed that the warning was for real rather than kind of an empty threat.
That's good. Well, I'm going to read off a couple things here before I embarrass you just a little bit. In 1974, you received the inaugural Distinguished Alumnus of the Year Award.
Yeah, that's right.
The college yearbook was dedicated to you in 1975, and you received the Norden Distinguished Teacher Award in 1986. How special were these recognitions to you?
Well, I think the best one was the Alumni Award.
Mm-hmm.
I've probably gotten many more than my share of honors, and they kind of embarrass me because there are other people around or have been around that have not been adequately honored, and I think makes me feel, it embarrasses me. What was that again?
I'll just ask
Oh
you
yeah, yeah,
how
yeah, yeah.
special those awards were to you.
Yeah. You know, the yearbook.
Yeah, it was the
I've
the yearbook was dedicated to you in 1975, and the Norden Distinguished Teaching Award in 1986.
those things have happened at least 3 times each. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I've been around here for a long time, so
I was just picking up a
that's-
little reading. the
yeah,
book
yeah,
here.
yeah. So my percentage isn't all that good, but
So you've
But-
earned each of those about 3 or 4 times around. Huh?
yeah.
That's fantastic. Gosh. Well, that sort of begs the question, but you might have partially answered it. What's kept you at Oklahoma State University so long? I'm sure you had opportunities to go other places, and certainly through degrees from Cornell, which is a very prestigious College of Veterinary Medicine school. But you stayed at Oklahoma State.
This is going to sound. I mean, I came back here from graduate school. Knowing that I had learned a lot in graduate school, that I could be a significant contributor to our program here, and I suppose that's why I came here to work. And it might be a major reason for having stayed here. I have felt a strong commitment to the veterinary school at OSU. I have wanted it to get better and better over the years, and it has. I'm proud to be here. We are, or have not been, one of the more prestigious veterinary schools in the country, but we've improved and a great deal, and I'm really kind of pleased to have been a part of it.
What do you have some? Gosh, there's a long career as a student, as an instructor, as a faculty member rather. There's some favorite memories you have. I mean, you must have. I mean, of course, hundreds, thousands of them. But are some highlights for you? Some things that stood out in your career. I'm not talking necessarily awards, but just personal experiences, rewarding experiences.
Almost every day has been a reward, really. I've had, I think I've helped a lot of cattle people, swine people, sheep people in the state of Oklahoma, some dog people through diagnosis and diagnosis sort of in the prevention of added problems, and individual cases where sort of we made a difficult diagnosis or an important one I mean, those are, there are many of those that are highlights in my life. I mean, one of the things that I am particularly pleased with is the recognition of a disease in a calf, a parasitic disease, parasitic infection, that was eventually recognized in people, is a very important disease in people with AIDS. And my report was not the first report of cryptosporidiosis in the world. It was seen in the early 1900s in snakes and birds. But my publication sort of opened the floodgate of people recognizing this disease, this infection, and several years later it was eventually recognized in man. So
Did it help with
I kind of like that one.
that was, and also some that's transferable to research in AIDS and HIV.
Yep. And there have been, I mean, there have been several things.
You're, it's a multi-million-dollar business, shipping and cattle, and you must have had some impact too there, and they sometimes referred to generically as shipping fever. So
Yeah.
Some significant research in that area. Was that important to you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean it. The work that I personally was involved with early on was sort of primitive sort of stuff. When Tony Confer came here as a trained immunologist, he grabbed that ball and has gone somewhere with it. And however, the problem. The focus of our work has been attempting to produce a highly effective vaccine, which we made great progress toward, but we don't have the silver bullet even yet. And I think we started that research in 1969.
Wow.
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
40 years, and a lot of people out there in public think that, oh hell, just give me a couple weeks and I'll work on this, and we'll have it done. But here we've been 40 years working on the same problem fairly intensively, and the problem is still out there.
They think there should be something like a vaccine for polio, and
Yeah,
you take
yeah,
it,
yeah.
and you got it solved.
Yeah, shipping fever. I mean, it's an important disease, and I would say that Dr. Confer right now is one of the people right at the forefront of study of that disease.
Well, being candid, are there also some, while there's highlights and some special moments, have there been some frustrations, some disappointments over the years?
Well, there was a very frustrating period at one point in my career. Is it okay to talk about deans?
Sure.
We had a dean for a period who didn't seem interested in the quality of our program, of the veterinary program. And that was very frustrating. It led to some uncollegial activities, and that's probably the most unpleasant period of my existence here.
Back on maybe more positive note, but how, in your mind, how's the college changed over the years? What ways has it changed? I know in thousands of ways, but generally speaking.
Well, our program has improved tremendously. Our teaching program, our research program, our goals for veterinary students and for research productivity have expanded, improved, and of course the profession itself and the scientific basis for what we do has improved tremendously. So standing still would have been intellectual suicide, I suppose, one way to put it. I think we're doing an excellent job now, especially as a retired person, but still hanging around. When I overhear what students are talking about and what they know that I don't know, kind of scares me. And it says that I'm either getting a lot worse, more ignorant, or they're getting a lot better. And I think it is more likely the latter.
Maybe
they're getting better.
Well, you think some achievements? I recall visiting with some other professors or former faculty members. Can you share the struggles of getting accredited and getting the teaching hospital? I mean, for some of them, mention those as highlights of the progress that the college had made.
Yeah, I'm not one to ask that kind of a question because although I was department head for briefly a few years, 4 or 5 years or whatever it was, in the 80s. My commitment has been primarily to students and the diagnostic process and more broad-reaching administrative issues have not been my interest. And I think maybe the deans haven't been interested in them anyway, in my opinions about some of that stuff. I could be pretty conservative. I mean, I at one time wasn't too keen on everybody getting a new computer every 2 or 3 years. What's wrong with the old one? And the answer is they get slower and slower and slower the further back you go.
Okay. We were talking a little bit about sort of your perspective in the college, Dr. Panciera, over the years. Did the new teaching hospital, how did it help with the development of students? Was that significant, do you feel, to the college and to your efforts as an instructor?
I think it's a little like Boone Pickens Stadium, maybe. I think it made it more attractive for to recruit faculty. They certainly have a much greater capacity to provide better patient care. As a practitioner of myself, as a practitioner of dead animals mostly, the teaching hospital hasn't made that much difference to me. They're too interested in curing everything, and I'm interested in looking at disease process. And so, teaching hospital really, I mean, I don't recognize what it's done for for my part of the program.
In your opinion over years, what's been the strength, excuse me, or strengths of the college?
Oh, I think the faculty that have been around, people like Ralph Buckner, Lester Johnson, Euler, the faculty in general have had a very, very strong commitment to the educational process, and you know, I think you can spread one faculty member over too much territory for that faculty person to be heavily committed to all of the territory. And I think in our early days, everyone was a teacher. That was what the faculty had to do.
Wasn't it kind of what this college in the early years was known for, was teaching?
Yeah, exactly. More recently, there's an expectation of faculty, of many or most of the faculty, to be involved in research or in advancing their discipline. And it seems to me that not specifically, but in general, you're dividing a person in two pieces. However, I think it's very important that each of us have a creative activity component, sort of to keep us from becoming mental vegetables. You know, I mean, to work on a specific project and prepare it for publication causes you, if you have any pride in yourself, to be pretty damn sure that what you're putting on paper for the world to read is pretty close to the truth. And it doesn't have to be the truth, but it has to be a defensible opinion. Okay.
Defensible opinion. I like that.
Yeah. Okay. So, and I think that's that keeps us sort of intellectually alive.
You know, it sort of begs the question, talking about research, talking about teaching, what in your career, how much interaction did you have with practitioners and also with people out in the field, I mean, with animals and Does that?
I've had a lot of contact with them until the diagnostic lab was became operational. I was involved heavily with providing diagnostic stuff for the public, and that was good.
Is that an important component for a faculty member to have contact? With
Yeah,
the
I think
industry
it tells you a lot about what's going on out there in the real world, and like I said, it provides the faculty person himself or herself with a lot of sort of exhilarating experiences, diagnostic experiences. Yeah, I mean, I think for a lot of my career, my hours have been whenever any veterinarian or person out there had a problem they wanted to talk about. And it got to a point one time when I just couldn't stand to hear the phone ring. Drove me.
Well, I suspect we glossed over it a little bit because I know in your work with bovine and with cattle and the industry that you had to have had a lot of contact with the public and with the different industries involved in that.
Yeah, I did, and and it was good. And I tell you, I'm one of the lucky guys that mostly got paid for coming to fun. Good stuff.
That's great. I can tell the sparkle in your eye that you have enjoyed it too. And let me move a couple questions here. I'll let you close. But what did, if asked, I'll put it this way, okay, what advice would you give, if asked, to a current or future faculty member administrator about advancing the mission of the college? What would you tell them is important?
I would say number one, they've got to be a conscientious worker. I'm not sure you can be a contributing faculty member in an 8-hour day. I think a few people that are extremely efficient, personally efficient, can do it, but if they're like me, 8 hours is not enough, and neither is 5 days a week. I think I'd like to think that it's important that faculty feel that they are working for the good of the company. In other words, the veterinary school. And self-promotion, if they're doing that conscientiously, happens. Self-promotion is not a very good personal goal for me. I mean, I think just like any job, if you put 100% into it, on average, good things are going to happen. And if you put 120% into it, a lot more good things are going to happen.
We can imagine the faculty administration has a lot of things coming at them, a lot of expectations, a lot of requests. What should, in your mind, having had this long look at it, what should be the appropriate mission of the College of Veterinary Medicine, and particularly Oklahoma State University College of Veterinary Medicine?
Well, at this date in 2008, I think we are a veterinary college whose, it seems to me, primary mission is to produce well-trained veterinary graduates, and whose added mission is to provide advanced training for primarily veterinary graduates. And in order to do that, there has to be a level of research to provide training opportunities for these advanced people. There has to be enough research, as I said earlier, to keep the faculty intellectually stimulated. But there are veterinary schools in this country today that are fundamentally research institutes, and they sort of have a side program of teaching prospective veterinarians. In other words, the veterinary curriculum. And I don't like that. I think, however, the whole issue has to do with dollars. And I guess it's necessary, but I don't have to like it, even if it is necessary.
You indicated earlier that you feel good about the college, and how do you see the future of OSU, College of Veterinary Medicine? You feel good about it?
I hope it's good. I would, who knows? I think if it's good for anyone in any of the vet schools in the country, we'll be right there. Who knows what's in the future?
Fair enough.
I mean, we're here today and in the present, and why not do the best we can right now?
Well, look, a couple final questions, if you don't mind making a little bit of a personal note for you, but what do you, and I know from your talk with you, this may be an embarrassing question for you, Dr. Panciera, but seriously, what do you feel has been your legacy over nearly 40 years?
It's actually more than 40. What is it? 60, 56? Been 50.
It's been 50. I keep saying over 40. It's been 50 years. That's correct.
Well, I don't know how the hell. It doesn't make any
After
difference.
a while,
It doesn't make any difference. But and my legacy. Like I told my kids, it doesn't make any difference what you do in life. Just get good at something and swing the bat. Be there. And I think I've done that here. I think I'd like to think that I have helped motivate quite a few of our students to actually become pathologists. Have a little bit of enthusiasm. I mean, it can be a hell of a lot of fun. I mean,
Hard work can
it's
be
good.
fun.
It's good stuff. Yeah. I mean, hard work for me. My family history, I think, farming at all, and working with my dad, especially on the farm. It seems to me that we, on the farm in those days, 40s, 50s, we look for the most difficult way to do things, and that's how we chose to do it. I mean, so work.
Build character.
I mean, work. Yeah, work is no big deal.
Well, we kind of capped it. Maybe the following questions: How do you hope people, how do you hope people will feel and how will they remember Roger Panciera at DVM? How do you hope they'll remember you?
I hope that most people think that I usually knew what I was talking about, that I was honest. I hope my students think that I was fair. And in that regard, I think about Vince Lombardi, the coach of the Green Bay Packers. It was quoted as having said he treated us all the same, all of us players, like dogs.
But he was fair.
But he was fair about it, yeah. And I think that I really have tried to be fair. Even when my own kid was in vet school, when they were in Boy Scouts, I was unfair to them. I would criticize them so that the kid next to him would get the message. But when my kid got into vet school, I vowed that I was going to treat him just like all the rest of the kids. And I think I did.
Did you teach him in some classes?
He probably wrote the best exam paper that I ever got, and obviously the reason is because he was in my brain.
Good genes.
He
good
knew.
Genes.
No. He just knew the way I thought. I mean, and I like to ask exam questions that you had to figure out. For some questions, you had to figure out what the question was before you could answer it, and because that's what we deal with. I mean, hell, our patients don't talk. You got to be able to read them, right? I mean, I think that's right. And why not have a little bit of that experience in the classroom?
That's great.
Anyway.
Okay. Well, Prince, here, is there anything that's been a great interview? I appreciate it. Anything we've left out? Anything you'd like to add?
Oh, hell. I mean,
Yeah.
You haven't asked me what great kids I have.
Well,
and I'm sure that's out of
Well, I do have to ask you.
that's out of bounds. Huh?
The son that went to
Yeah.
to veterinary college. Where is he now? Is he?
He's actually working for the governor of Virginia.
Oh.
He's on the faculty at Virginia Tech Vet School.
Okay.
So the governor's paying him, and he's doing a hell of a good job.
Great. I'm proud of him. Well, what about your other kids? Oh, you got other kids?
One of them's a spy. My daughter is a spy.
Is it like CIA or something? Or?
No.
Uh,
She's a satellite image expert. She has a master's from OSU in geography, and her project was satellite imaging. So she works for a defense contractor and kind of looks down on whatever the street is out in McFarland, if she wanted to, or Baghdad.